Yo, okay you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic, chapter 217 review, that is 217 of Magi. So, this review, I don't know how it's gonna go because I'm exhausted. Had a very long day. Had a very long fucking day. Oh my god. But the thing here is that despite my trials and tribulations, tomorrow I just don't have enough time to do the Magi chapter review. So we're gonna knock this bad boy off tonight. And you guys get what you get. Takes non-existent. In this video, takes are non-existent, alright? In fact, non-existent. Cashews. I got a bowl of nuts. Got a problem with that? Alright, now. Whew, focus. God damn it, focus. Alright. Okay. This week's chapter, Magi. First of all, I like the transition between Sheba at the beginning of the chapter, where in which she, of course, despised Solomon. And he really does look like a version of Kid Sinbad and Aladdin. He does, to me. But how you can see that she wasn't digging this entire situation. She wasn't digging Ugo. She wasn't digging these people. She wasn't digging the fact that they were in the Manticore village. No, she wasn't digging any of that shit. But at the end of the chapter, she finally comes to the realization that, in fact, we are an equal species. And what these, well, either that, maybe she didn't come to the full realization because it's very hard to snuff out those beliefs that have been forced upon you since you were a young child. Like, that will take some time. It does. But she does see something in the Manticore, since she's now playing around with the child, the kid, baby Manticore. So she does see something. She sees some light, where normally all she saw was disgusting monsters. And mind you, she even points out the whole thing about how, like, earlier in the day they were drooling around mindlessly. And it was funny because Ugo, he was like, wait, but wasn't it because of your magic? And she just completely dumbfounded, like, no, yeah, of course. Now, there are also a few other things going on here. First of all, I think that Seta, and then again, like, this video has no structure to it. Again, you guys get what you get. You guys know the drill. Seta, I believe, is actually the brother of Isnan. That's the way it seems. Because, like, the first thing the chapter starts off on is Seta carrying, like, a bowl, like a tray of food. Because he cooked some food. And then he's like, yo, brother, bro, food's ready. And I'm like, because it seemed like he was talking to Isnan. I believe so. And the other guy, the other girl, I think her name is, I forgot her name. The one with the huge tiggles. And, like, the loopy hair. The loopy red hair. She was explaining how apparently his food isn't seasoned well enough. And it doesn't fill her up. And then he explains how, like, you don't need to eat that seasoned food because it makes you fat, like the other guy, Wahid. And apparently Wahid and the other girl, Arba, they're like gym rats. Because she's like, yo, you want to go spar later? He's like, yeah, I got you. And I'm like, what? So we have a whole, it's a weird mesh of people going on here, right? And again, we've seen these character types so many times over. We have the cool guy Seta. We have the otaku nerd dude Ugo. We have the gym rats Arba and Wahid seems to be more like a crazy wild man warrior. Then there's the studious, at the same time, like, he's always in the books, not super otaku, but very intellectual Solomon. But at the same time, Solomon, he's also like the kid who's eager to like jump into stuff that's very new. Also, there is, I don't know where you would categorize Isnan. He seems to be well, Isnan is Isnan. Let's leave him at that for now. But we've seen a lot of these character types before. That's very obvious. But it was still pretty cool to see these characters interact. Because again, this is Solomon's age. Now, also a few things going on here in the chapter. There's this mention of the divine staves, and this to me is super obvious. Okay, the divine staves. Okay, we know that they. Well, first of all, there's multiple divine staves. That's number one. It's not just one divine staff. There's multiple, and apparently, okay, the divine staffs, they are 72 of them, which is the same number of jinn that exists, or dungeons and jinn that exists in the current world. So, I believe so. Because I know that the last jinn and dungeon was 71, I believe, that we actually know of. And that, I believe went to Kome, the younger brother of Cohen. But what's also fascinating is that when I read the translation, because I go on this very good site, very good translation site, and or scanlation site, we don't scanners, and they also had like sometimes something occurs in the chapter and like they'll notify you like what that fully means, or if this ties into something else. Like they'll have like a little like segment, their own little personal note. Well, apparently, this also ties into something known as the Lesser Demons, or like the Lesser Key of Solomon. Apparently, the Lesser Key of Solomon is like a series of books, a series of 5 books. And they center around demonology and magic. And if you actually go to, and you search online, and you look up like the Lesser Key of Solomon, you see that there are 72 demons within like these series of books, and the names of these demons is almost identical to the names of the jinn that we see in the series. For example, the first one, all right, King Baal, also known as King Baal, because apparently over the course of the years they have different translations, but the names technically go around the same line. Also, I believe that there was, because just look it up, because I know that like some of the jinn, like I think that Zagan was King/President Zagan, and then there was Marquis Amon. I'm like King Paimon, and they're the names of the actual demons that the jinn in the actual series follow the names from. So it was fascinating. I'm gonna do some more research later on in the week, because again, like this week I'm very busy. But hopefully on Saturday afternoon, when I'm finally free, I'll be able to actually dive deeper into this whole Lesser Key of Solomon, because it's fascinating. It really is. So look it up. Actually, no, I'll put a link in the. I'll save some time. I'll put the link in the description box down below. It's fascinating. Of course, Wikipedia, obviously, because I'm too lazy to go anywhere else. Now, also in the chapter, we gotta find something that I've been pondering for a very, 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 very long time. This whole rift between land masses and this weird pit of darkness, and they call it the Continental Rift. It's more than that. It's it's so much more than that. It's so obvious, because I don't think Il-Ilah finished the world. I believe, because it could be similar to what was going on with the Great Rift in their actual world, in the real world, in the current world. But no, I think it's actually far more. Because think about it, in the current world, there was a bottom, and the land masses seem to be directly tied into the Great Rift. But in this case, it's the continents appear to be floating. They're floating, and then there's a Great Rift, or some great continental rift, and it's just huge. It's huge. No, like, it's the plan itself. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but it seems as if, like, Il-Elah, the god, was just lazy as fuck. And apparently, the continent is slowly but surely, like, eroding away. Like, it's collapsing into, like, this great continental rift. Because apparently, they could actually go further when it came to, like, you know, the continent itself extended even further for a few more kilometers. But now it's like, no, like, it stops here. Because they have, like, this, like, mountain dragon thing that Ugo, it's a magical item that Ugo actually, because he is a magical engineer, and he creates magical items. So Ugo, we see his purpose. And Isnan, since he's very good at lightning magic, him and his other boys of lightning, they power this giant mountain dragon thing. So the plan here is to fly to the other continents, which will take like 20 days. And they don't have the power right now, but they're gonna rest up, and they're resting up in the actual village of the Manticore people. And when, like, we see their, you know, like, their actual village, and they're like people, they're civilized. They have shops, they have communities, they play games. You know, they're on the same equal level as humans, which of course completely goes against what Sheba was taught, because she's been brainwashed for God knows how long to believe that these people, that these species were inferior, where in fact, no, they're just as intellectual as humans are. And there appears to be something going on. Like, after this all works out between Sheba and the others, like, there appears to be, like, some kind of thing going on at the end of the chapter where they're playing around, but then, like, they show you, like, a bird's eye view of, like, the area, and then the ending, like, sidebar is like, but ... So something's gonna happen. It's very obvious. And I'm gonna make an assumption here that it involves, like, the collapse of the continent, because when you think about the Manticore village, it's very close to the edge of this continent. And if it's true that in fact the continents are, like, breaking apart, then it may involve, like, these Manticores actually, like, just plummeting down to, like, wherever the bottom of this thing is, like this infinite well of gravity. I don't know, because it's a planet. So if there's nothing else, I don't see, like, any mantle layers. I don't see any magma. I see nothing. It's just black. So I don't know what's going on there. But let me end the chapter. Let me end the review on this, okay? Because again, like, there's no order to this shit. I'm just talking. I do like the fact that the actual magical staves, the divine staves, clearly tie into the number of Jinn, which means that these people, they became Jinn by doing something with the magical staves, which actually gain Magoi from Il-Elah itself, which actually means, to some degree maybe, that Il-Elah is still giving these Jinn power. Now, I don't know, but if you consider that there are 72 Jinn and 72 divine staves, and the divine staves themselves gain immense Magoi from Il-Elah, that means that the Jinn themselves must be gaining Magoi from Il-Elah. Again, I'm not too sure, but we'll see. Furthermore, I do like where things are going with Sheba. She's starting to see the light, alright? But the problem is that with the way the chapter ends, it seems as if, like, there may be some kind of regression, like immediate regression, or it could be progression, in the sense that since the Manticores, they may fall down to, like, the basin, Sheba may actually save, like, the baby Manticore, and it may help her progress forward when it comes to her being accepted by the others around her, and her changing to accept the other species around her, and acknowledge that they are on the equal, that they are equal. Also, this whole concept, and I know it's not really, like, manga related, but the lesser keys of Solomon is truly fascinating. So again, just go down in the box below, Wikipedia, you'll see right there. And the whole interaction of characters was also pretty cool. Seeing that there is a lot more purpose for Ugo, because Ugo, he appears to be like a very intellectual, a very savvy individual. And I do like that. I also like the fact that even though he appears to be like a major bitch, he is still quintessential to Solomon. As well as, and like that's one thing too that I need to point out. You see this character interaction between Isnan and Solomon, and it's ironic because you see where it all ends up. Isnan winds up being like one of the leaders of Al-Thamen, and he winds up diving completely into darkness. But you see him right now, and he is so faithful, so loyal to Solomon. You have to question what in the name of sweet Zeus made this guy change to what we saw in the current world. Now, I don't know, and we're gonna find out. It's very obvious. But Solomon had to fuck up real bad. Oh yeah, Solomon had to fuck up really bad in order to change this guy to the way he is, to the way he was in the current world. And finally, wait, is that it?